You know, niggas gotta get their priorities together. Got their mind on the wrong things, spending their money in the wrong way.
Trapaholics, real trap shit.
Say you need that car with the rims and a trunk, just like Jim. It's more than life. Yeah.
I'm telling you. Talk to him.
Say you need that LV bag with the belt and the hat.
That's all you got though.
It's more than life. Yeah.
Talk to him. Real.
Say you wanna turn up at the club, light some bottles, impress them girls. It's more than life.
Fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Saints and Appetizers podcast. And I'm Ethan Emmons. And finally, it is the main course. And we have a lot on the hot tray today. And with that, I want to ask for a menu. And the first topic that I want to get into is Michael Thomas. Is he just running straight? Or like NASCAR, is he going straight and sometimes going to the left? But actually, with that, from the videos that we've seen on Twitter, he's actually not going to the left, but he's actually going to the right on these routes that we saw him running. And the routes that we saw him running now, instead of just going straight that we have seen on these recent social media Twitter post videos that we saw of him, it looked like he was running some slants and some over routes where he wasn't just running straight like in some of the previous videos that we recently saw of him, which I think would be a good sign that maybe he's getting a little bit healthier. And I think that's encouraging, seeing that he's running some different routes, because people, weren't giving him any credit for the progression he was making when they just saw him running a straight line. And maybe the two previous social media videos that we saw where he was just sprinting in the Saints facility, just running straight, and just kind of thought that was a joke, not really any progression. You can't really get any wins sometimes with Saints fans when you don't see a guy out there going out there and doing what he did before. Unless you see Michael Thomas go out there and catch 150 balls, you can't really be like, oh well, he's back. But I think that progression of seeing him do more, put some stress on that ankle and doing some cutting and stopping and some moving is a good sign that maybe he's getting back, and maybe he's gonna have a comeback season. And from what I saw, it did look encouraging. I don't think he's 100%. From what I saw, I would say if I was to put a percentage behind what I thought he was at, I would say maybe 80%. But even at 80%, Michael Thomas, from what his peak was in 2019, where he caught 149 passes, 1,800 yards, 9 touchdowns, even 80% of that would probably be like 80 catches, 1,000 yards, five touchdowns. And I mean, that blows away any of the production of any of the Saints wide receivers last year. So I'm taking that and running if he running in a straight line if I can get that production this year. So I'm really glad to see that from Michael Thomas, and seeing him do that, and seeing him looks like a better relationship. It looks like the relationship is back and stronger, because it looked like the relationship was kind of torn there between the Saints and Michael Thomas. And maybe it wasn't the Saints, maybe it was torn between Michael Thomas and Sean Payton more so than the Saints. But seeing him back and inside the facility, and finally we get to see some video of him actually moving more. I think I feel better about that, because before that you were just hearing, oh, he's going to be back for training camp, and you weren't hearing or seeing anything else about that. And even hearing it from Dennis Allen, it was almost more like, oh, we hope to see him back for training, or we hope he'll be ready for training camp. And you hear those key words, and it doesn't leave you very optimistic. But now actually getting to see it, it makes you feel a lot better. Okay, this one is kind of the complete opposite, and maybe it'll make me look and seem kind of like a hypocrite a little bit. But this is uh, brace off, smile off kind of issue for me. And that was it's all, everything is a social media, my workout, post workout kind of videos. I gotta see what I'm doing. If no pics, no video, it didn't happen kind of world we live in today. And this was Jameis Winston, and his video that he posted a couple days ago. And this was him posting a video of him without his brakes on. And a lot of fans and a lot of people, I guess I hadn't really heard too many media people really talking about it, but a lot of fans and some other podcasters talking about it. Most of them seem to be optimistic about it and saying, oh, well, he's on a good track, he's healthy and stuff. But I think I may be more in the minority here on how I feel about that. And I personally did not like seeing it. I cringed when I saw it, because even though he was just taking little 1-2 step drop backs and throws in it, I was just, it was already on film, so and there's nothing that could happen in something that was already filmed. But seeing that just made my heart jump in my throat, because that's the last thing the Saints need is a setback in your quarterback. We already know all about setbacks with all the issues we've had with Michael Thomas. So that's all we need is a setback at the most important position on offense, or the team all together. And on top of just the brace off in general, it looked like it was rainy, misty out there. So just doing that when it's slick out, it just the whole combination of things, just the aesthetics of it just didn't look good to me. Like and I also heard that he wasn't wanting to wear it at all during minicamp. That was kind of the Saints' advisement, was him to be wearing it through minicamp and even throughout the season. But it was his own personal workout video where he was wearing it. So the Saints don't really have a say over his own personal video of him wearing it or not. But me personally, yeah, I guess it's a positive that he's got enough stability to where he's able to do workouts and make throws and this without having it on. But just to be on the safe side, I would say it's not very wise yet to be doing that, only because he's only 8 months removed from tearing, I think that tearing that knee up. And I would just be devastated to have something happen to that knee. So I just to be clear, I'm not a big fan of that. All right, and this is what this is the big thing in the news here, and I think it'll just kind of circle back into everything everyone's talking about in the media right now. But this will be the quarterback rankings of the NFC South, and I guess I'll kind of not be in order here because, of course, we already know who's going to be number one. So I kind of want to get that out of the way first because I don't really have much to say about who we already know is number one because I got to be honest and unbiased. So I don't really have much to say about Tom Brady. So we already know Tom Brady's number one, obviously. The guy's got 7 Super Bowls. He arguably had maybe his best season ever last year since probably the 2007 season. So he could have been MVP last year. So I think it's hands down that he's the number one quarterback in the NFC South. So then I'm going to go to the fourth best quarterback, or maybe I should even say these are quarterback situations. So then I'm going to the fourth best quarterback or slash quarterback situation, and that's going to be the Atlanta Falcons. And their quarterback slash quarterback situation is Marcus Mariota. And I would say that Marcus Mariota, if healthy, will be their day one starter. And to be honest, Marcus Mariota, he was the second pick in 2015 to Jameis Winston. And he had a promising career, honestly, the first couple of years coming out. And I think, let's see, Marcus Mariota, he came out of Oregon, didn't he? Let's see here. I'm pretty sure that's where he came out of. Yeah, he came out of Oregon, and he was actually pretty good the first couple of years, and really kind of what led to his issues and him losing his job wasn't just inconsistent play, but it was kind of injuries and things like that on top of that, because he had his first couple of years, he was pretty good, honestly, but I think injuries, as much as anything, kind of led to his drop off in play. And I think that honestly could lead to not just him losing his job due to his play, but he could lose his job to the rookie Desmond Ridder, not because of his play, but because of an injury. So he may start the season as the starter, but he may somewhere around game 4 or 5, you may end up seeing the rookie Desmond Ridder as their starter. So, it looked like there somewhere when Marcus Mariota, he looked promising there as the Raiders backup there for a game there or so, where it looked like Derek Carr had a pretty serious groin injury for like a play or two in one game, and then just Marcus Mariota came in and looked really good, and then just magically Derek Carr was healed. I don't know. I guess Derek Carr was maybe concerned about losing his job, and then you never really saw Marcus Mariota play for the Raiders again. So, I mean, Marcus Mariota has all the talent in the world. I mean, obviously, he's got kind of a similar story to Jameis Winston in that regard a little bit, but I think as much as his inconsistent play, I think it's injuries that could lead to the Falcons seeing Desmond Ridder as their starter next year. And so moving on to the next slot, and this one may upset people a little bit, and it's not because I'm picking the Carolina Panthers for the third pick or the third spot or the the New Orleans Saints for the third spot here. I'm actually going to pick them to be tied. And the reason for that is I almost have, just like I'm saying Marcus Mariota has a similar career path to Jameis Winston, I honestly think Baker Mayfield and Jameis Winston's career path is very similar. And the reason I say that is because both of those players, you could argue Jameis Winston and Baker Mayfield, you could argue that their best season was maybe their rookie season, honestly, because Baker Mayfield, he was rookie of the year his first season, obviously rookie of the year, and Jameis Winston was a Pro Bowler his rookie season, and then you go down the line, they're both coming off an injury this year, and their poor play led to them leaving their team that drafted them, both first overall picks. And, you could even say, just from career wise, you could even say Baker Mayfield was more successful for the Browns. He actually played in 2 playoff games, actually won a playoff game. So, I mean, you could say career trajectory that both at their peaks were above average to pretty good quarterbacks. And you could both say that both of them are really have something to prove or out there to prove something. So I would really say that third spot, that they're just kind of neck and neck. So I really can't pick one over the other. I think that position is kind of skewed, but you may not even see if it's hard to really pick Carolina over the Saints or the Saints over Carolina, but that's also a tough situation there in Carolina when you think about that, because honestly, Baker Mayfield might not be the day one starter, because I think the Cleveland Browns paid $10 million of that contract with the 5th round pick that they got, which is a conditional that could be a 4th round pick depending on how many games he starts, if they make the playoffs, etc. And so Carolina is paying another $5 million. But the thing is, Sam Darnold is making $19 million. So a lot of times in situations like that, the player that is getting paid the most will just automatically be the starter. But the question is, for how long? But sometimes winning trumps all. So if he is just heads and tails above, performs better in training camp, preseason, that might not matter. But also, on top of that, you also have the rookie Matt Corral, who, and some pre-draft analysts, some people thought he was the best quarterback in the draft, or at least a first-round pick. So, hell, if both of them bomb out, maybe you'll see the rookie, just like in the situation with the Falcons with Desmond Ridder. And also another interesting factoid there is that Ben McAdoo, when he was in between jobs with the, in between jobs, he was in between jobs with the Giants, and let's see here. He was in between jobs as a head coach with the Giants and a quarterback coach with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was a draft analyst. His scouting report for Baker Mayfield, and he's currently the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. So he's Baker Mayfield's offensive coordinator. During that 2018 draft, his draft profile for Baker Mayfield is that he was undersized, unathletic quarterback with small hands. So that's an interesting relationship and dynamic there that he could have with Baker Mayfield after saying those things about him. So that could be I don't know, that could be somewhat of a clown show, honestly, going on there when you think about how Baker Mayfield has all this moxie and holds grudges and remembers everything people says about him, and his own offensive coordinator said that stuff about him when coming out in the draft back then. So when you think about those things, it just sounds like a recipe for disaster almost in Carolina. But I'm just going off of talent-wise when I come up with those rankings, because both of those players are coming off injuries, and you got to be true to what you see there and what I honestly believe when I think about what Baker Mayfield can do when healthy, and what Jameis Winston can do when healthy. And I think both of them have a very similar ceiling and talent when they are healthy. So I think that's what I have. That's all I have for you today. And with that, check please.